Hi everyone, it's Christine, your lovable, huggable muse. And I just wanted to get on today and just go over some of the downloads that my spiritual leaders in the spiritual community have been uploading. So this is technically my upload to their downloads. Basically right now, what I'm hearing a lot from the spiritual community is about this collective consciousness and how it has a lot to do with what's going on right now. And us intuitives and empaths, we're led here to be the human element in all of this, because one of the things I am noticing, especially in the media, is we're taking in a lot of numbers and a lot of facts and a lot of just information that's a little bit more left-brained. And right now I'm more curious pretty much how this is affecting people in the emotional level. I definitely want us to start considering the human element a little bit more. I think that's just one of the things people tend to disregard most during times like this, and I think it's probably some of the most important things we need to think about. And when I'm speaking of the spiritual collective consciousness, we're also talking about the spiritual awakening that's going on right now, not just within ourselves and small communities. This is technically happening at a global level. So we're literally being shaken up by the events that have been happening and leading up to this situation. And to me, it just feels like the world is and the powers that be are just shaking us just to kind of tell us, hey, wake up. And we are being shaken to the core by some of this. And in a way, it can be good. I know to some people that are a little bit more critical, they might question, oh, well, why would the powers that be allow something like this to happen to people? And I don't necessarily think any of it is ever out of malice, and one understands the way in all spiritual things do happen for a reason. And I just think for the longest time we've been kind of walking through this world and just going through the motions and running the rat race without really taking time to stop and think how we are internally, how we are, mentally. So I think this just really, this is forcing us to stop and think about those things. I mean, for me personally, just having more time off, I did have to start thinking about just, who I am. Is this where I want to be? Is this where I want to go? And right now I notice a lot of people don't have their normal outlets of escape. They're not going to work. They're not really, going to school. They don't have their social activities to escape from their opportunity for self-reflection. There's a lot of places that are in lockdown right now. California, where my mom is, hi mom, and my siblings, they're in lockdown, so they have to basically share their time in small little communities of no more than 10 people, I believe. Here in Austin, I believe we're adopting that as well. And it's just to this point where we're being isolated and secluded, and that could bring up a whole lot of other things for some people, not just on a financial level, but also on a spiritual and emotional level. And I actually posted something on my Muse Chronicles site if you're interested. I do post a lot of really good articles on there, and I did post something about just maybe paying attention to your emotions right now, and maybe kind of giving you a little example of what certain emotions mean. I mean, people always assume anger is a bad thing, but a lot of times people are just getting angry out of fear because your boundaries are being crossed and you just feel helpless. So I feel if you have some time, it's a nice little article, and it just shows you a few emotions, the most common ones, and what they really mean. So I hope you can find some interest in that. And so when I'm saying we're being shaken up, I mean, in my last post that I did on Muse Chronicles, I did kind of see bubbles. You know, I do believe we're all in our own little reality bubbles. And like I said, we create our own reality. So basically we have these, our own little existence. And every now and then we might bump into somebody else's bubble, you know, and you slightly just, and then you notice, oh, I don't like this bubble. I might, you know, just keep going and maybe find another bubble that interacts with me just a little bit better. So that is going on. But right now what I'm seeing is I'm just seeing this soda bottle full of bubbles. And if you've ever shaken a soda bottle, I know a lot of people do it on purpose, or they don't, or they do it by accident. But if you've ever done that and you see how the bubbles just start interacting and all of a sudden a mess happens, I am getting some just not really a warning or red flag. I'm just getting just a slow caution not to let that happen, just to kind of tell people, hey, rather than shaking the bottle right now, just kind of put it down, let it fizz out a little bit, and everything should be fine. Because I do believe that the people in charge, they're really working hard to make sure this doesn't become a bad thing. I do believe they care about what, you know, our humanity, and I do believe they care about us. So that is one of the things I've been kind of receiving from up there, and just from some of my spiritual leaders. And also, one of the things I have been just pondering on is just at the human level, we need to kind of start making sure that everybody around us is doing okay. Because personally, I'm an introvert, so I'm okay staying indoors for long periods of time because I like to read. I love binge watching my nerdy shows, and I'm an artist, so I'm constantly just doing my artwork. In fact, that takes up so much of my time. I'm able to kind of get self-absorbed in it, and I'm noticing there's not a lot of people are necessarily like that. A lot of people rely on their social gatherings and their social unity and communities with others, and that is so important. Even me, I do spend, even as an introvert, I do make an effort to go out there and spend time with people, just so I can get that interaction. And now some of us are in lockdown, restricted to maybe numbers of less than 10, and that can be difficult for some people, and maybe even impossible for other people to even reach out if maybe work or school or whatever situation they were in was their only outlet for any kind of social contact. So I'm kind of getting this download to just have everyone who knows anyone to maybe just go out and make sure that everyone's doing okay. I mean, I honestly believe we're okay financially, not as bad off as maybe some other countries. I believe as long as you have food and shelter, you should be fine. And I don't see too many of us suffering. If you are, please do reach out, because there are some of us who have more than we need, and we can help you a little. Don't have too much pride in that. But I just don't see the financial aspects of it really being the problem. I really think it's going to be more of the human elements, where people are put in situations they're not used to, where they kind of have to stay at close quarters with people they don't necessarily always spend a lot of time with. I mean, I have a family of 3, and we interact on occasions. We don't, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I know, I don't know if it would actually drive us crazy if we hung out together, but we had too much contact. It would be somewhat of a surprise for us as well. We're used to maybe having our own little outlets too. So the connectiveness is an amazing, wonderful thing, but there's a lot of barriers and walls that people have sometimes that they have to overcome. There's a lot of truths out there and honesty that might start coming out in those kind of situations. And my question to everyone is, can we handle all that? Are we ready? And if we're not, then what can we do about that? Because it's really an important question to answer. This is a human element, and those things tend to be a little bit more unpredictable. So I really care more about that than the whole financial situation, just because I can always control what goes on with me. It's really hard to imagine, you know, how someone else's, and really, you know, you can put yourself in their shoes, but it's really hard to understand sometimes. And I think that's the most important thing, is just going out there and making sure everyone's okay, not just food wise, not just financial wise, but also spiritually and mentally. That is kind of the biggest push I'm having right now, is to kind of ask everyone to kind of go out of their comfort zones and maybe just do things they probably didn't think they could ever do. And I can tell you, through all of this, I have been put out of my comfort zone quite some bit. I do know of certain situations that I have to eventually face, and that's okay with me. I think sometimes, I think most people, human beings, are just a little confused about when they should act or when something should happen. And I think sometimes this whole shaking up with what's going on is a really good push for people. Maybe this is their light bulb moment where they can just kind of realize, oh, okay, maybe this needs to be get done. I mean, let's just get some good out of this, if anything. Let's just make it you know, we have time on our hands now. Let's make it a time when we can heal each other. Let's make it a time where we can dig deep down and try to understand each other and accept each other for who we are, and not see anything else but someone else's, you know, true being, true soul, true essence. Because, you know, deep down inside, we're all good people. I truly, truly believe that. Even the worst people on earth. That's why I'm going to have some faith in humanity in all of this, that our government is doing the best they can to make sure that everyone's safe and healthy. I mean, I know we're going to make mistakes as humans. That's just going to happen. But I am just going to have faith that we are doing what we can to make sure that this world is going to get through this. And if anything, after all of this, if it taught us anything, hopefully it just teaches us to be better people, to be more understanding, to be more loving, to be more compassionate, to give people what they need and not what they think they need, and just ask the hard questions. And maybe just, rather than trying to help someone or trying to do things for them, maybe just listen, sit there, and just let them be who they need to be. That's what we need right now. We just need people's love and support. And I get it. And I hope that we all get that at some point. I'm so happy to be able to share this with you guys. There's some times in all of this when I really find a peace in it, just because this really forces me outside of my norm and forces me to look deeply inward. And I can tell you, if you're, you know, this is probably a good topic for the next one, how to go inside without freaking out. But if you're scared of what's inside, I can tell you right now, we are all made of light. Even if there is a covering of darkness on there from time to time, and everyone does, we all have our shadows, but your core is light. So don't be don't ever be afraid to look into that. Don't ever be afraid to have to maybe shuffle through some of those dark corners in life, because you might have to, and there are so many people out in this world that can help you work through that. But just don't be afraid of yourself and who you are. You're a beautiful person. And I just hope that if anything, that's the takeaway we have from all of this, that we can start seeing the light in people. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been an emotional journey for me, but I'm glad to share it with you guys. Please continue to follow me. Please subscribe and like. I will be posting more videos, maybe more on, you know, doing some more soul searching. But in the meantime, you guys, please stay safe and healthy. And I will be seeing you guys soon. Bye-bye.